date. 16 years old and my first date, my first parentally approved date. First date jitters, the principal concern being to make a good first impression. For the first time, I'm wearing makeup outside the house. I've got on secondhand clothes, but hell, it's the first time I'm wearing them. Feeling like half woman, half child, with my mother fussing over me. Full of hormones, full of Disney-style fantasies, full of my mother's expectations for me. And standing at my front door is Antoine Crenshaw, all southern charm and dimples and hair so wavy, looked like he wore a do-rag for a week straight. My own chocolate, Prince Charming, waiting to escort me to our chariot. It was around this point that I fell in love. When I got into the cool car of Antoine's cool older brother, cause pumping out of the speakers was something that sounded like preachers, teachers, poets, and revolutionaries all speaking over each other. Pumping out of the speakers was something that felt like riding in the back of a pickup truck full of cousins on a hot summer's day. Pumping out of the speakers was something that tasted like fried chicken, red Kool-Aid, purple now-laters, and peaches stolen from an orchard. Pumping out of the speakers was something that smelled like sweat. But that good sweat you get from dancing all night, combined with the sweet incensey smell of real good weed. Pumping out of the speakers was something that looked like strong legs, planted with strong feet, in a strong stance and strong hands choking up on a mic. Cause up until that point I had listened to 60s and 70s soul exclusively, strictly oldie stations. The type of child old folks would look at and say, this ain't the first time this gal's been here. Always on the periphery of grown folks' conversations. An old soul, I just didn't get the music of my own generation. But this thing I was hearing for the first time, this thing pumping out of the speakers, I got that. And I asked, what are we listening to? And I was told it was Outkast. And I thought, me too. Eventually I had to get out of the car, but I couldn't concentrate on the movie because the beat just wouldn't leave me alone. And Antoine did try to fill me up a little in the back of the theater, but he was out of sync with the rhythm in my head. My first date with Antoine was also our last, but that summer, shortly after the release of their second album, Outkast and I had our second date, Kiss FM's annual Kiss Fest. And I didn't care who came before or after. I just wanted to see Outkast on that stage. And I fell in love with hip-hop. Around the same time I fell in love with Andre Benjamin. Him being Southern like me. Him being a lover of funk like me. Him being kind of a dork like me. And I pissed off everybody sitting behind me at the concert because I had on my favorite head wrap. And I had the nerve to stand on tiptoe just to catch a glimpse of him in his funky little turban and beautiful jade dashiki. And I fell in love. Love at first sight. Love at first sound. Love at first sight. Love at first sound. And I've been in love with hip-hop ever since my first date.